Well, hello there, and welcome to a very different stream that I have not done probably since 2021, where I'm going to be reacting to something. I've been waiting for an opportunity to react to something. No one has given me anything to react to, and a friend of mine gave me an idea of what if I reacted to something I wanted to react to, and I was like, you know what? That sounds criminal. I'm going to do it. So, today I'm going to be talking about one of my new favorite YouTubers that I just came across and just reacting to what he's been talking about related to the YouTube algorithm and how all that works, because it's quite interesting and it strikes a chord in many things that I've experienced as just someone who's trying to produce things through YouTube, through live stream. So let's have some fun with that. Well, welcome back to thoughtraid, a community about friends, gaming, and better ways of thinking. I'm Brandon, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different video that I haven't done in a long time. It's been 2 years. I noticed one day that one of the things that was particularly big for thoughtraid for God knows what reason, was when we did a reaction video of this man named David E. Taylor. We did that, I want to say it was sometime around October of 2021, and people love that. And I've been wanting to do, and hello there, Zap, I've been wanting to do another reactional video, and no one has provided any suggestions, so I decided to take fate into my own hands. I was having a sit-down conversation with one of my good friends, and he gave the suggestion to maybe you should react to something that you're interested to, and I thought that was the most criminal thing possible. How should I react to things that I'm interested in? And yes, you did suggest something, Zap. To be fair, you did suggest something, but it was more of like a, to my understanding, it was more of like a comedy reaction or something of that nature. I have kind of still have it hiding in the reaction video thing, so I don't see it until the right moment. What I'm about to react to here is more of, I've been wanting to do reactions specifically to like certain people on YouTube or that have done YouTube related things first. It was an article that was kind of funny and a bit serious. Okay, well then that is something that I will have to get to in the next time, but I have it waiting in that reaction tab on Discord. But I was kind of thinking, I was originally thinking the lines of something serious, something interesting that is, and very, to be fair, yes, it is ironic, because that is half of what this is here, too. What I'm about to talk about is half funny and also half serious at the same time. But anyways, all that said, I have something I want to react to. I want to pull you into my world real quick, and that is the world of creating content on YouTube and the frustrations and everything that is involved with creating content on YouTube. Because if you've had any sort of interest in making or any sort of video, whether it be a live stream or a video on YouTube, and even honestly, this can kind of extend into other places, there is challenges that go into that whole world, and that's what I want to share. A lot more serious, like, are you talking about the video that you had shared that you wanted me to react to? Is that what you're talking about, Zap? Out of curiosity. Or are you talking about the video that I'm about to go into? Because maybe it's more serious than what you shared, but I don't know, because I haven't yet to see or react to what you've shared yet. But I want to get to that. And I will get to that. Also, before I jump into this, Zap, how has everything been? I've been seeing you posting stuff about the flooding that's happened, and I hope you're doing okay, because flooding sucks. So I'm hoping that you're okay, given all the rain that you guys have been having where you're at. But anyways, I don't know how long it will take for you to respond. But, with all that said, so, I've been scrolling through YouTube, as I do, and I came across one new person who seems to jump into the fray of putting out videos into YouTube. There are, in my opinion, a lot of videos with misinformation and or disinformation that exists on YouTube, and I'm really passionate about kind of like calling out things, well, recognizing the wheat from the weeds in YouTube. Okay, good. So good. Everything is fine right now. There wasn't much damage, and there could have been, but some stuff got messed up, and my dad's comic book collection got ruined. Oh, that is terrible. That really sucks. I hope at least some of them are recoverable. 'Cause that does suck. My heart goes out to your dad. But anyways, there exists on YouTube lots of misinformation and disinformation. A lot of trends that a lot of people jump onto and hype out the wazoo. And one day, YouTube was like, hey, there's a new person in town who's talking about this very thing. How about you watch this guy? And the first video that I caught of this man was like the whole like hype about the dopamine detox, and his research into it and his take on it. And it caught my attention, and that sucker was like 2 hours long, and I still watched through, or at least something like 2 hours long, maybe a little bit less than 2 hours, but it was a very long video, and I went through the whole thing in segments between work and lunch break and driving and everything until I finished it, because I hate misinformation and I hate disinformation, and it's really hard to tell the difference between the two without taking whatever you get and just kind of effectively putting it on the shelf for later. And here's this new guy, the Zatzman, who is just kind of going to town on this whole thing, going into a crap ton of research. Whether he read into it heavily or just little bits, I'm not 100% sure, but when you go to the end of his video, he has a huge list of sources that he has either pulled from or deep dived into. And I loved it because his content is both, cutting to the root of the issue, but also making light of everything and putting in a lot of memes. So when you make videos on YouTube, 1 minute video, just if you were to make a short 1 minute video, if you want to put proper editing into it and make it look nice, 1 minute video takes 2 to 3 hours, depending on how skilled and how consistent you want your videos to be from one to the next. And let me tell you, if you're doing an hour-long video with the amount of cuts and content and music and little snippets of sound, this man has probably had to put at least, I'm just guesstimating, I hope to hear from the source one day, at least 24 hours into these videos that he's doing, because my god, it's just something going all the time in all the videos. It's a lot of work. But recently as in the past 5 months, he did a video about the YouTube algorithm and the struggles that are involved in that, and more specifically, the struggles that are involved in being any sort of content producer on YouTube. And I understood exactly what he was talking about in certain things. So I kind of want to share that, and let him do the talking, and then me just kind of provide commentary on that as we go along. So hopefully you can get as invested into his stuff as I have, because it's very interesting, and we're close to the same age too, which is a nice thing. But I'm glad, before I do that, glad to hear that your dad got some stuff recovered, so good. Good for him. I'm very happy that at least not everything is a total loss, because that would especially suck when you're already losing something that is probably already hard to find by this point, considering all. So, anyways, the first thing that the Zatzman went into was just the sheer struggle of being found, and specifically, the difficulty of, finding, even just live streams, which is such a true thing. YouTube definitely struggles in the category of, providing ways to curate your content if you're looking for certain things that's not just a video. It does decently fine with helping you find videos, and much worse when trying to find live streamers. It's not apples to apples. You can't just go into YouTube, at least last I checked, and say, ooh, I want to watch gaming, and within gaming, I would like to watch Overwatch, or watch Minecraft, or whatever. It's just here's a list of all the different people that are streaming right now. Good luck. And that's the first thing that he covers, so I'm gonna just turn down this music. Actually, I can't turn on the music because I need to stop it. I'm using everything connected through the music thing. And you gotta search with filters though. So it's not. That's how I found you. Okay, so it's probably not as. Would you say, Zap, now having used YouTube and Twitch, which is more effective in finding new people? Is YouTube better at finding new people and what you're looking for, or is Twitch better at finding new live streamers specifically? Which would you say is better? Because last I checked, Twitch was better at that, and even then, there's you'll still get kind of drowned amongst many different people. Both are similar though. Okay, Twitch is better though, yeah, but both are similar. Okay, so yeah, so let me go over to the first one. This is the Zatzman. And this is his take on it. I think it's hilarious. I'm gonna pull my chat over here so I can see that, and I can see the video and play that. So yes, okay, all right. So this first video, he's talking about the frustrations of finding things.
Here's where I would put the live streams if I had them. Where are all the good live streams? Looking for them is a pain in the ass because YouTube only gives you a couple categories like gaming, live now, sports, in this dinky playlist menu. On Twitch, you can browse by categories and subcategories, filtering things out and getting recommendations within categories. That's literally how I find creators there. With these homepage tabs, it'd be cool if I could browse some of these suggestions and look within different interests, which is much better than the current way of getting recommended a completely random category for no reason that I have no interest in. YouTube.
Because yeah, that has been just trying to look through and find different things. Like Twitch for me has been a lot better when finding different people in live streams. And you're saying if you want to search on YouTube, you basically just have to search for the video game or type of stream and just filter by lice. Filter by lice. He looks like he was a 10-foot. He looks like if you were a foot taller and grew out a goatee. Yeah. There's probably some similarities. But yes, no, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because, like, when you're trying to build, a community like I'm trying to do on YouTube and finding different people, it's already hard enough trying to find people on Twitch. Now, I noticed with Twitch, you'll go, I don't know, you'll search Overwatch and you'll find, like, this person has 10,000 viewers, and this person has, 100 viewers, and then this person has 5. So they're trying to, like, jumble up which viewer gets what after a certain point, which is nice. But do they do that too, Zap, with YouTube? Is it like, when you're trying to search for viewership, do you see, like, or what you want to find in a live stream, did it show, like, uniformly, like, 1,999,999, 900,000, like, how have you seen that out of curiosity? Because it's so overwhelming for me that sometimes I don't even touch it because I'm just like, what am I going to find? There's a bunch of stuff. Okay. On YouTube, you can filter out by recent or by viewers. Okay, so there is filters. Okay, but typically it's the higher viewers to lowest. Okay, yeah. And so that, to be fair, that's partially like a YouTube thing, but it's partially a Twitch thing too. I think Twitch just make it a little bit easier. Not to say that I'm looking to drop YouTube, because YouTube, I like the fact you can just have all 520 of our videos and still go back and see them if you so desire. You can't do that with Twitch, so there's that. But yeah, that's one frustration, and then it covers it from a different perspective too, of the difficulty of being discovered in this next one.
System. This is where I would put the smaller creators if I could find them. Even Twitch.tv, with its abysmal discoverability, recommends smaller communities. YouTube search is okay. However, you need to have a specific area in mind because these pre-selected filters don't help much. I can't look for videos based on channel size, and if I want to look for channels, it's just a big list of creator names from all the channels within that niche. People are lazy. I'm lazy. If you can use the
which I relate to. On Twitch, you can archive streams, I think, but I wouldn't know that much about it. You can make, with Twitch, you can make highlights, but you can only make them certain lengths of time. So it's not like if you did like a 2-hour stream, you can highlight a 2-hour stream and then it just stays indefinitely. Like, you can cut and paste. They got good, editing stuff with it in terms of like trying to snip out highlights and create literal snips. But it's not like I can save my entirety of my stream like I can on YouTube. Not just, well, yeah, but the far as I'm aware from what I've been seeing last on Twitch, until you get to partner with Twitch, you don't really have any sort of longevity of streams. Like at the current level that we're at on Twitch, any video that I put up there will last 7 days, and then Twitch takes it down. So that's been kind of like my general experience with all of that. So from there, another frustrating thing about, and to this, I say it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's a little bit me caught up in the moment. I think, to be fair, this is just the nature of the beast, that if you want to be good on YouTube, you want to create content, presentation is very important. And it's not, I'm realizing I'm kind of like taking a second to get into some logical thinking here, away from emotional. Anything, like I feel like a lot of different businesses, the minute it gets into the limelight, presentation is just about everything. And maybe I think you could attest to this, Zap, when you're making your food. You could make good food and it look ugly. And then who's going to want to eat that? And then you can make beautiful looking food, and regardless if it's the most delicious tasting thing, if it looks good, people are going to want to go for that. At least I know that's the case for me when I'm at a restaurant. Half the time, you can give me a menu, and it could have all the list of the things and ingredients that are inside of whatever it is you're selling to me. But if I don't have a really good picture of what it is I'm going to consume, I'm like, I kind of default to the thing with the picture. And it's kind of the same thing with YouTube too. Like, a lot of people, especially, now, I don't know how much of a big deal thumbnails are in live streams as they are in the videos, but at least when you're making videos on YouTube, you better have a good thumbnail for that, because otherwise, who is interested if there's like 5,000 streamers doing, all of them doing Overwatch, then, like, which one are you going to choose other than one that catches your attention between the title and between the thumbnail itself? So it's really important. Zap, you're saying to enable archiving, first visit your stream settings. You can navigate to the page from the creator dashboard by expanding the settings tab on the left and clicking stream. Under the VOD settings, the section, toggle the slider next to the store. Press broadcast to enable or disable archiving. Just Googled it, how to archive Twitch streams. I'll have to look into it. I'm not as concerned with archiving the videos on Twitch because they're still being archived on YouTube, and YouTube is much more geared towards finding archive videos than Twitch is. Twitch, you might be able to get some good highlights, and that's probably something that's good for, but finding a full 3 hour or however many long hour stream, that's probably more so of a YouTube after it's been posted and watching it in live on Twitch than otherwise. The fact, though, that we have the amount of viewership we do on YouTube still blows me away, considering YouTube is still not quite geared for live streaming as Twitch is. But no, it's interesting reading what you're saying. So, anyways, so you've got the struggle being found, then the importance of having the right thumbnail. Thumbnails, and titles are very important, especially once the video is no longer live on YouTube. What's going to drag people's attention into something when they're finding 5,000 thumbnails of the same thing? Really important, and he captures that in this one, which right now just looks like some kind of, God, where did I pause this? And I think this is the right, yeah, this is the right one. Okay.
As a creator, we have to understand these algorithmic factors because we're trying to get into your algorithm. Platform design, content packaging, optimization. These will influence how you conceive of the video, structure the video, the frequency in which you make videos, etc., etc. If none of that was the case, why do other creators suggest coming up with good titles and thumbnails before making the actual video? Why are there so many videos talking about the title and thumbnail? Why is the marketing of the video so important? Why does the marketing of the video matter so much? These factors are so interwoven that it'd be incredibly naive to say, well, sorry, your video performed poorly because it was bad content. And the audience is always correct because they know exactly what they want. Just make good content. Duh. And what?
And that's not always the case. It's not. You can have very good content and not be discovered. Good content, something that has like really good, ooh, I want to watch this, is not always the case in YouTube. If just make good content. I try to do that all the time. It doesn't mean I'm going to be discovered. But that's the thing. And, you know, again, going from the emotional to the logical here, like, it makes sense because, like, when something does really good and it looks like it's going to be something that's doable for you, there's going to be probably a lot of other people that's doable for, and so the market gets saturated with a whole bunch of stuff, and it's really hard to be discovered. And presentation is incredibly important. And again, I cannot relate this more to just a lot of other things. Like if you're in a store, like, presentation is important. How am I going to know what you're selling if your stuff that you're selling is not on display? How am I going to know what food I want to eat if there's not some sort of picture of what I'm going to be eating? Like, I like that. That's good to me. The age of pictures is upon us. The age of paintings, is now more of an art than it is a necessity. I want to know what I'm going to be eating in just a moment here. And so having good presentation I want that. I feel adventurous because that looks delicious, and it's the same with YouTube. just make good content. If you make this video into an actual edited YouTube video, you need to have clickbait title and a thumbnail. Yeah, but unfortunately, I do not have the dedication to do that, or the time. If I did have the dedication to do it, I do not have the time, because if I were to spend all my time doing editing, then I would have no time for also working a job that makes me money. So, this just resonated with me, because sometimes the reason why I'm late to starting my live stream is because I'm trying to get the thumbnail good, so that way after the stream, I don't have any extra work to be done, the thumbnail is set, and people can look back and find it, and maybe it's entertaining to them. I don't know. But yes, you volunteer. You'll have to show me some of your work if you want to volunteer with helping that. I have CapCut and two thumbs. Oh, with the video editing. Oh, well. Again, you'll have to show me what you're capable of before I'll just say yes to that. So, I know you can cook, but I haven't seen any of that yet. So, we'll have to see. I make no promises. So, he does that. He talks about it there, and then he talks about it here, and just kind of further expands upon it. And I'd like to go back. I'm looking back and forth because I'm trying to remember exactly how much time did I portion to each video.
Simplicity rules the day here. Not sure what to title the video? Me neither. Lord knows how many titles I could have come up with for this video. But one thing to remember is that there's a big difference between man talks about YouTube for an hour and a half versus the problem with YouTube. Which one is more clickable and for whom? Beats me. Oh. If you've ever seen creators swap out titles and thumbnails, it's because they're desperately trying to boost video performance. Thanks, YouTube Studio. I love you. Why not let—
Yep. That is a thing. Like, that is literally another issue. YouTube has probably done this to me, but the two biggest things that stress me out the most is the thumbnail and the title. And sometimes I will just spend time sitting there thinking, what am I supposed to title this that will be interesting to people? And how am I going to make it look so it's going to be interesting to people? And that's after years of me working on just coming down to the condensed same thumbnail that you see with variations all the time. And I'd like to change that again. God willing, I'd like to change that again, because I've had the same consistent thumbnail for a long time. And to be fair, Noah has helped me a couple times with that. So if you notice that the thumbnails are different with the AI battles, thank you, Noah. But yeah, that this right here consumes my timing of just trying to get everything just right. So I love that, because it's like you sit there and it's like, there's so many things I could name this. I don't know how to name this in a way that's going to be captivating to people. And it just, at some point, I just have to say, screw it. I'm just going live. This is the best I can do. God help the rest. So there's that. But yeah, after that, he kind of goes into the next thing he kind of jumps into that caught my attention, at least, was how YouTube shapes you. Because it does. Like, it's in some ways accidental, and some ways on you, and some ways on them. YouTube does have a way of shifting a person, I've noticed. And I like the different things that the Zatzman brought out about that, which I have like 3 short clips from that alone about how YouTube kind of shifts your thinking, which I have here. So I think, yeah, I didn't write exact little title for each one of them that I put in here, so I don't remember all the exact points, but I have them here, and they're short, and they're sweet.
But also, the YouTube Creator Studio is a demon designed to sap your self-esteem as a creator and ruin your will to live. As a viewer, when you're presented a video, this is what you see. The title and thumbnail are the most prominent things, then views, upload date, channel name, description, video length. There's none to judge the quality of said video outside of the information presented to you. So a high view count and a high subscriber count might give you the impression that, hey, that's pretty good, because big numbers are how we measure value. The YouTube Creator Studio, on the other hand, does this neat little trick where it freaking tears up, giving you more information than you'll ever need, and making you question every single creative decision by telling you that you'll never be good enough. This will be your latest obsession. They call it analytics. You may have the best performing video in terms of views, but the YouTube Creator Studio goes, your click-through rate on this video is lower than your previous upload. Viewers are only watching 20% of the video. Here's a little line to show you where people got bored of you and left. Hey, your content isn't performing as well as it did last month. Uh-oh, your subscriber count seems to be stagnating. You aren't converting many of these viewers into long-term subscribers. Let's drop your impressions off a cliff. Views don't tell the whole story. YouTube supposedly removed the dislike bar to prevent dislike attacks, but all this data just makes me dislike myself. Also, I can still see the dislikes. Hey.
Yep. So YouTube analytics are very important, but they also, I find, are also very frustrating at the same time. So like, while you guys get to enjoy the fruits of all that I've been working on, and see how many views this has, the YouTube, the title, all that, the thumbnail, the title, all that kind of stuff, I see all those things that you saw there, like the click-off rate, and how long people are excited about until they're not excited about anymore, and all these details. And the bigger that thoughtraid gets, the more details YouTube was going to show me about, like, the genders of people that are watching us, the age of the people that are watching us, and all these useful, I suppose, details. But at the same time, it's just like, especially when it's just like, this video has lost this many subscribers, or gained this many subscribers, or has this little of a retention period. And it's like, you don't want to think about it, because the more you think about it, the more you can just think about it, and the more you think about it, the more you think about it, and the more you think about it, the more you think about it. And I've gotten to a place where I don't think about it as much as I used to, but it's still a thing. And so it's not helpful. And it's like the catch 2020, because like, also analytics is not something that's just relinquished to YouTube. It's also a retail thing. As one who's worked retail and still works retail, businesses care about analytics. And I guess there are, to be fair, I know there are people in this world that loves numbers and statistics and can look into that with all the excitement and wild-eyed bewilderment of a little child. But me, I look and then I think, wow, what do I do with this? And it's just like in retail, it's like, hey, last week you made $10,000 in sales, and this week we would like for you to make $15,000 in sales. Go for it. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what I do. So I am defaulting to like something that is relatively realistic for me. And it's just like, it's too much information. I wish you could see how often I click on and off a stream. It's literally a roller coaster. No, to be fair, Zap, it's probably best that I don't know that. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know half of these analytics. I just have them because YouTube gives them to me, and then I pass them off to Noah because Noah's more of a numbers person, and he can take that and provide it back to me in my emotional brain can handle. It's nice having a team. Let me just say, this poor man, if it's just him working at all this kind of stuff and he has no other team to help him with it, God be with that man, because like having other people by my side to shoulder some of this weight is so nice. Like, thoughtraid would not be where it is today if it wasn't for Noah and Lauren and Tim, who hopefully at some point you'll be able to see more of, but he's still going through college. And even Jared at times, Jeremy and Dan. All of these people have come along to help me, and Jacob. All these people have come along to help me with different aspects of thoughtraid, and just made it so much more bearable. But you could get crushed, and that's what he's bringing up in this, is just how crushable you can be with all these statistics. And so he kind of goes more into depth into what it means of how YouTube kind of shapes a person. And notably, there is going to be more and more language in this, so bear with me, but it's not to say that I don't have language, so, you know, this stream is not rated PG, it is rated PG-13. Deal with it. Anyways.
Playing the YouTube game comes with the territory. However, the longer you play, the more you realize how the site tries to mold you into what it wants. There is nothing nefarious behind this. It's the system operating as designed. Platform incentivizes creators to optimize their content for various metrics they've deemed indicators of good content, and to market said content in an algorithmically focused environment. YouTube.
Yep. So now this is something that does frustrate me about YouTube, and it's not just once again, there's just so many correlations between what goes on in YouTube and what goes on in other places in the world, but there is a governmental function of YouTube that can be frustrating, where it's like, it's not just like you can come and share any one of your thoughts on YouTube. There is governing to it, which is good, because some people will post things that are like, that should never exist anywhere. That's absolutely vile. But then there's a lot of other things. It's like, this feels more like your opinion, YouTube, and not actually morally right or wrong, or especially not morally wrong. And there is a little bit of that. You may or may not have heard through YouTube or other places of censorship. And I have encountered it, not yet through thoughtraid, but I've seen other people that I follow be censored because it's a hot topic that people don't want to hear or see, supposedly. And that could be frustrating, because YouTube does have the ability to modify its algorithm to make some things more visible and other things less visible that's not just numbers related. And I get it, because again, I don't even know the depths of what kind of things people will try to post on YouTube, but it could use work. It could use work. There are biases, and YouTube does not have biases. So, anyways, so there's that, and he goes into a couple more ways about that. The next part, he talks about, like, all the ads and the need for money, which, you know, I get. Like, ads are an important way of anything that doesn't necessarily have a physical resource to give to you can make money, because it's not like you can trade YouTube. It's not like YouTube can pull off a part of itself, it becomes gold, and then it gives it to somebody. Like, it's all your viewership that makes the money. So I get this, but he goes a little more in depth in how things kind of shape you.
All that matters is engagement and viewer satisfaction. Doesn't matter how it's crafted. The ends justify the means. For the creator, making good content in this context equals more exposure, which snowballs into more profit, more leverage, more clout. Creators make videos to appease an algorithm through their construction, presentation, and topic selection, because that's what works. That's how you get attention. The proof is on your homepage. But once you get that attention, get the views, get the exposure, why would you stop doing the thing that brought you success in the first place? If you have a formula that works and rewards you for doing that same thing, why bother doing anything different, interesting, or unique? You've found your niche. YouTube knows what box to put you in. If you branch out, your built-in audience expecting one type of thing may not fuck with this other type of thing. That's if you're fortunate enough to get an audience in the first place. What if...
So this, I will say it now. I am no, what's the word? I can't think of the word and it's bothering me. I have not ascended this. Like, there is definitely a thing of finding your niche and following your niche. And with us in thoutraid, we've definitely been still trying to figure that out. I think with Zatzman's approach to the whole problem with finding niches and just doing something that works, I think he overthinks it here, because I think it's just nobody can be everything. And so you have to find the places where you shine the most and people recognize where you're strong in. And so we in thoutraid, we're still kind of working on figuring out like what exactly is our niche. We've come to the conclusion that we're definitely more geared towards being there for people that like gaming. And we've come to the conclusion that we're pretty much not shooting for anyone that is a child or like middle-aged up. Like we're not able to reach that demographic. But there is that finding your niche and kind of getting stuck and just doing the same thing that makes the most money and makes the most views. And I get it. And it can be soul crushing at times, but there was a person outside of the Zatzman that kind of introduced an idea to me, and I don't remember his name. This is not a Brandon Brown original, but it was something to the effect of, I probably could look at it, it's in my likes somewhere, of 1 for me and 2 for the audience approach when doing things for people. And I really like that, because like if you're going to become a content creator on YouTube or Twitch, or music maker, or if you're going to do any sort of thing that's going to interact with, like, providing a product for the public, I think it's really important to have that 1 for me, 2 for the people kind of thing, because that way, whether or not that 1 for you ever gets seen to the same degree as the thing you're really strong at, you don't feel like you're losing your soul by only doing things that people like. What I do on Mondays right now is the 1 for me. What we do here, this is for me. Like, whether or not, okay, I talked about sus ads yet. I talked a little bit about that. Yeah, welcome back, Zap. Whether or not Mondays ever become the biggest thing that we stream or not, I don't care. I really like talking to people, helping them through stuff, helping them find better ways of thinking. And I love sharing what I'm doing with other people. And so, but sometimes the biggest things that succeed with thoutraid is the community nights and just the gaming itself. And I see that, but I don't feel drained because I still have Mondays where I can talk to you guys about things. Whoever actually cares about this segment don't have to be a part of it, but if you are, we can talk about things. And today, again, this one's for me. Like, whether you guys come and find this to be interesting or not, that's okay. But I find this interesting, and I find this man interesting. So I'm sharing my own, because I do video research all the time. Like, I'm always digging through YouTube, finding people talking about different things and just inputting new ideas in my head. And so this is that. Oh, Zap, you're too kind. So, but yeah, it's still a very thing. People have to find a niche, and we're still trying to find it, but we're getting there. We're slowly figuring out YouTube or thoutraid is not for children, and it's not for boomers. And it's definitely for gamers. But Yeah, we're still kind of working that out and everything. So yeah, that's what he kind of covered in this video. And then there was another aspect too that he covered about how YouTube changes you in this one.
This is the catch-22 of YouTube. How do you get good engagement metrics? You make good content. Hey YouTube, what is good content? Content that gets good engagement according to these metrics. After all, big numbers.
And that's the thing. There's no easy way of figuring out what works. And I don't think that's just a YouTube thing. And that's why I'm like really enjoying reacting to the Zatzman, because on one hand, I greatly relate to all these things, all these tabs you're seeing here, the things he's talking about. But like, it's not just YouTube. Like anything you do worth of value is going to be ambiguous as to what will or will not work. YouTube is not going to tell you what the best way to get views is, because the minute they say, this is the best way to get views, and everyone jumps on board with the best way to get views, then that's no longer the best way to get views, because 5,000 people are doing the exact same thing. It's just a shot in the dark. You keep mining until you happen to find a vein of gold. You keep making better food until you find one that people think you need a secret recipe for. You keep developing furniture until you have the one that everyone wants to buy. Like, it's just, that's a part of how it is. But that does not mean it does not make it any less frustrating. And YouTube does, at the same time, the frustrating part with YouTube is that they still are not in control of what they do or do not censor. Like, they don't really have all the best grasp on morality, and there's just some things just like, what can I do? What can I do but say, you're welcome? Anyways, so yes. And then the Zatzman brings it in real good with this point here that I really love a lot, because it's so true, and it's good to take into... It's a good life lesson for anything content creating or providing anything for people. Yeah, it definitely can be. So this one's really good. Pay attention to this one here.
Say it with me, everyone. YouTube is not a meritocracy. Yeah. Whatever skills or abilities.
Oh God, I love that so much. It's not a meritocracy at all. And I recognize here, I have it going from then, and so a little bit longer. So let me explain more.
Varied and can differ drastically from creator to creator, as everyone is looking for different things to get out of their content consuming experience. While of course making videos is a skill that can be improved upon, and the baseline for quality improves across the board, the amount of work that goes into making videos won't necessarily correlate to an output, as oftentimes people will have different quality thresholds. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. I've seen well-edited, well-produced bullshit do numbers. I've seen creators saying the most asinine ideas, but oh, they have a lovely speaking voice that resonates so lovely on their Shure SM7B. Meanwhile, some low-effort stuff comes off as being more authentic and down to earth. Sure, their sound and picture quality aren't the best, but damn, they just seem so cool to vibe with. And it feels like a real person made this instead of a team of editors and a bunch of social media manager people.
Cut.
Personally,
Yep. This one, this point that he brings out here was so very revelational to me before I got into YouTube. While I was still doing things solely on Twitch, when Twitch had just started connecting with Minecraft and Minecraft started putting in like mechanics, you can just talk to your stream via Minecraft. Like, this is such a powerful point. It does not exclusively matter how good you do anything in the live streaming world. It does not matter how many sounds you create. It does not matter how well your thumbnail is. It does not matter how good your content is, your voice, your camera, your microphone. All that helps. I'm not saying that you should never focus on investing into good equipment and making your stream as best as it possibly can be, but at the end of the day, it does not correlate with being discovered, and you have to determine in your heart that this is something you want to do, and not let it be something of like, I want to do it because I want to be seen. Like, yes, I would like to be seen on YouTube, and I like for people to find my stream. That's wonderful and all. But that's not my primary motive. My primary motive for being here on the end of the day is to help people, to be there for whoever God brings along this stream, whether it be you, Zap, or someone else. It doesn't matter. Whomever you are, whatever you're going through, I want to be there in any way capacity, and I don't care if it's just one person watching me or 1 million people watching me. I'm doing this for you guys and for myself. But it's take it to heart, and this probably also applies beyond just YouTube. Again, it's just hitting me as I'm talking, so this is probably God kind of highlighting things in my heart. This is not just probably just a YouTube thing. This is probably many other places. Not everything you do is going to be recognized. God will recognize everything you do, and one day, if you've accepted him as your savior, he's also going to reward you publicly in front of all people in heaven for the things that you did. But not everyone on earth, while on earth, is going to see the things you do. So you have to make sure you're doing it from the goodness of your heart and not from a place of selfishness. And not to say that you are going to be perfect at that either, because there's always probably going to be some level of selfishness, big or small, in you. But like, if the only motivation for you doing something like this is selfishness, or anything for that matter, it's just not going to go well. There are channels that you can post literal nudity and not get banned, but you swear too much or talk about something controversial and get a strike. Yeah, it's just stupid. I hate it, but that's exactly what he sees. That's what I see too. And it's just like, please. Please, because people they get stuck on the morality of the day, and then next YouTube starts chopping left and right because they don't have there's probably billions of videos, if not maybe trillions of videos that exist on YouTube. They cannot possibly, within a reasonable amount of time, find it all. But that they need help. They need work and a better solution, because good people posting good things are getting cut, and bad people posting bad things are not. And it's just... But that is life. That is life, whether it's YouTube or anything else. Good people end up in prison and bad people end up millionaires. That's, it is what it is. So, but anyways, look in general when you have the chance. Okay, well, once I finish this, I'll definitely look in general, unless you want me to do that before end, but then I'll do it at the end. But I've got some points. We're making our way downtown. I'm moving on. And the next thing that he talks about is just how random... Okay, it's fine, okay. And then he talks about just like how random it is to kind of get views and everything, and I really relate to this as well too.
There you go. The myth of meritocracy. Yeah! This is why building a YouTube channel as a smaller creator feels like being an unpaid intern, surfing a lottery ticket, trying to catch an algorithmic wave. According to this website here, the odds of getting over 100,000 subs are 1 in 350. There's a lot of luck involved, and anyone who says, well, just make good content, that's what worked for me, boy, do I have a plane to sell you. For every big Joel, hey everybody, there are many more little Joels who got destroyed. The success of your channel could come down to being in the right place at the right time. Basically, having your interests align with popular sentiments as you fill in some gap in the cultural zeitgeist while feeling fresh or different enough. At the end of the day, you're dealing with human beings, and we're kind of ridiculous. We all have biases, we're emotionally driven, we're all influenced by society that places value on having certain attributes, and all that plays a role in deciding whom or what you decide to fuck with. It's level 2 of algorithmic awareness. This is the conceptual mind.
So yeah, and thank you. I appreciate you saying that, Zap. But yeah, it's random, and whether or not I get there, it's okay. Like, at the end of the day, I have been able to be there for you, and you've been consistently here. And even if you couldn't and you had to be other places, that's okay, because I still have that period of time where you were here and I was able to help you, and not only you, but I'm able to have been there for Gaming Warrior and for just the different people that have come along, Kenneth, and his son and different people that have come along. I've been able to be there for each one of you guys, and hopefully I've been able to impart something that has been useful to you. And so that makes it worth it for me. Like, I've had to check my own heart multiple times in the process of building ThoughtRaid to make sure that I'm not giving space to pride or giving space to depression and giving up. And I'm getting there. I'm at a place now where this has become muscle memory for me of just kind of doing this thing and producing something you have imparted. Look, I'm not as lovely as I would like to think that I provided all these different things. Like, I'm imperfect, and I know I'm imperfect, and I know some of my things that I have provide will work, and some of it won't work, because some of it's just a matter of living in North Carolina, USA. Like, it's going to work here because this is how this country works. It might not apply to Canada. I am not perfect. No, I'm not perfect. I don't accept that. I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless, but I am definitely not perfect. That's too much pressure. I've tried perfectionism. It doesn't work. But yeah, so not do a triple backflip right now. Yeah, no. But yeah, so but it's important to be aware of these things, because when you're putting a lot of work into anything you do, whether it's YouTube or something else, and I keep using cooking and stuff because you're here, Zap, but whatever it may be, don't sink into feeling terrible about yourself if not everyone jumps on board with what you've created, because it is going to be random. You might actually have created something that millions of people would enjoy, but until that right person or people come along and they see it and they taste it and then they start sharing with their friends with similar tastes, it just might take time, and that's okay. And it's good to have that awareness, and that's what I like that Zatzmans is bringing up in this situation. It's he gets it. He understands that it's completely random, and it's very validating because it really is random. I've had a lot of try-hard people around me that are like, I didn't post this day, I didn't do this day, or whatever. I'm just like, it's okay. I've had some moments where I figured I have probably not been involved enough as I need to be, and my career in this is completely over. And then the next video I do, a lot of people come along and they're very interested in it. It's random, and I've done things and I think, man, that is not my best work, and people are like, wow, this is art. It's completely random. You don't know what's going to happen. But you have to be aware that it can affect your self-worth, which is something that he brings up in this part here. So yes.
As you commodify different aspects of yourself through having this online presence, a strange dissociation occurs between yourself and yourself. It's you, but it's not you. As the self becomes merged with the content, those YouTube metrics aren't just an objective look at video performance. It's saying something about you. Am I good enough? Do I matter? How can you measure any personal worth from these metrics, knowing the good fortune that goes into an algorithmic recommendation, or whether or not a bunch of strangers decide to fuck with your shit? You don't have time to rest and reflect, because if you aren't making the content, someone else will. So pick up the pace, be consistent, and keep feeding the insatiable content beast. We are not content machines. We're human after all. But the system is only designed to make you feel as valuable as the last video you put out. You only have value because of the videos you put out. You only have value because of the videos you put out. Shut up, Shinji, and get in the goddamn Ava. Hashtag all YouTubers are Shinji. If anyone can make the content...
Oh God, if I understand that statement of just like, is what I'm doing good enough? There's been some times where I have put out videos into the ether and no one really took interest in it. I think I had a video not too long ago where I did, I forgot what the most recent live stream was about. Something about your self-worth, or is it self-worth? Something about, hold on. I don't want to get this wrong. It was a video about, what was it? Are you learning to accept yourself? That's what it was. After I descend into some sort of anime character. Where just not much interaction happened with that. People seem to be scattered here or there, everywhere, and it's just like, I don't know if that was Junkrat. I don't know what that was. But like, I put that video out there, and no one seemed to really be interested in it. And I'm just like, am I just becoming boring? Am I losing my touch? Like, am I just, just becoming some I don't know, irrelevant person or whatever? Like, I get this so much because it's like, you don't intend to go through your phone and pull up the YouTube app or the YouTube Studio app, and you look at this and you're like, oh, this last video only got 22 views. Oh, I guess I'm a failure compared to the last one, which was got 100. But you do that, and you have to catch yourself in it. And I understand very clearly about this, because it's like, at the same time, I also understand, like, you have no idea, like, the amount of stress that I sometimes go through when I have to say, hey, today's stream is going to be canceled because I'm going through a rough time, or I have to work through something, or whatever. Like, it's so hard. I go through the back of my head, I'm thinking, if I don't do this, then people are going to stop coming, and I'm going to lose relevance, and that's it. And that's not true, and I logically know that's not true, but emotionally, I don't know if it's true, and I have to fight my emotional self and realize, nope, sometimes, well, you're right. Sometimes I need to break. Unsubscribed. No! But I have to work through that and recognize it's not always the case. Sometimes it may be the case, but then there are people like you, Zap, that keep coming back, and so I know I must be doing something right, and even if I wasn't, oh well, I can just keep working at it until God reveals to me what I should be doing, or whatever, and then I move on from that. So I appreciate how you do that. How dare you have an actual life outside of streaming? I know, how dare I do that? My life should revolve around nothing but streaming. So after that, I kind of skip farther ahead in the video, and he kind of talks about, like, the fears and things that he goes through being a content creator, which I relate to and understand, but some of it's definitely overthinking, because he definitely deals with, like, nihilism and it goes through existential crises a lot. And it's not just this video. I've noticed the trend of the Zatzman where he'll go into the topic and then he'll go into existential crisis mode and then pull it together. And I love it so much because I also overthink. I'm not necessarily a nihilist, but I definitely overthink a lot, so I relate to it. But then he kind of goes into this segment where he starts talking about what we as content creators are generally trying to do with our audience, and which I really like. So I'm going to go into that part a little ways ahead.
Despite what the last hour will tell you, when it comes to this whole digital content ecosystem, I still enjoy it. I keep doing it. I keep coming back. Isn't that absurd? This isn't some, oh no, I'm addicted to the dopamine feedback loop kind of thing. I like the internet. I like YouTube. I like watching videos. And I still want to make content. I am making the content right now. All things considered, YouTube is still pretty good compared to other platforms. However, even if the medium wasn't there, we'd all still be here without it, doing something else, probably, I'd hope. When you strip away all this algorithmic nonsense, what we want is different ways to connect and relate to one another through the act of making cool shit. It's our experiences and the people we share it with that are real. Not a platform, not an algorithm, people, humans. If we post or spend time on a platform, there's got to be meaning to it. We're the ones giving meaning to our...
So he goes into that, and he just kind of brings out that, like, we're going into this because I'm not just making content for some algorithm. I'm making content for you. I'm trying to engage with you guys. It's especially the case with me. Like, I know my intentions, and I'm doing this for you. I want to be there for you. I want to share whatever I've learned in life with you, that maybe there's something that I've been through that you can use and avoid pain that I've otherwise had to go through. And that's the whole point of this. And despite my frustrations, which is like this, despite my frustrations and issues that I have with YouTube, I keep coming back. I mean, yes, it's you, and you're here right now, so I'm directly talking to you, but it's also to other people that have come into ThoughtRaid, again, like Gaming Warrior or Kenneth or John, the different people that have regularly come to ThoughtRaid. Like, I'm doing this to connect with you guys. I want to. And in the back of my head, should an opportunity arise where I'd be able to actually, like, meet you guys in person, I'd love to do that. Now, if we get to a very big place, that might become next to impossible, but at this moment, where we have 204 subscribers, it's much more possible. And I have done that. I actually, in a previous community that I was running, we had, just 2 years ago, the biggest climax of the community that was going for 9 years, where we had Friendsgiving together. About 21 of us gathered together at my house, and we all shared Thanksgiving together, and it was great. And I want to maybe do that at some point again with ThoughtRaid, but we're still building. So maybe we'll do that this year, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I love to be able. I'm not just doing this like just so I could be seen. I'm doing this because I know that on the other end of this screen, somewhere, is another person such as yourself. And I'm not just talking to nobody. So yes, I'm hoping for it. Definitely. If you need to like bring your whole family down to make it happen, then bring your whole family down. Okay. Anyway, so he goes into that. And then he kind of covers it a little bit down the road, which is here. And I want to play that part too. So I'm going to do that.
This may be a bold claim.
Okay.
But there is no one like you in all of existence. You have beautiful little snowflake. Every person is fascinating. And when you experience someone in all their uniqueness, when you give them that loving attention, that compassion, that grace, you see not only their essence, but their potentials as that unique person, making you want to reach out and achieve that potential yourself, whatever that may be. So all these creators, by virtue of who they are and what they do, not only gives you meaning through entertainment, through information, good times, distracting you from the void, but also give you that inspiration to create something yourself, to put out beauty into the world, to generate meaning, to be a better person, etc., etc., etc. Through creating, we self-actualize, and in doing so, other people can see the potential within themselves to do the same, finding and creating meaning in their lives, which helps everyone else do the same thing. That's amazing. YouTube,
So the word of, so yeah, like that's what I'm here for, and I just kind of related to what he was saying there. Is like, I recognize that each one of you guys that come to be a part of this community and join us are individual people with potential. Like, for me, it feels like God makes it easy for me to see what a person is capable of. And so I really enjoy learning each person's individuality and trying to help them become the best that they can be, however that may be. Because not everyone's going to become a YouTube creator, and thank God, because then no one will be there to enjoy YouTube videos. Not everyone's going to be a chef, and thank God, because then how are we going to get the metals to make the skillet or the burner or whatever it is, so we can actually cook food. Not everyone's going to be just one part. We're all part of a collective body. And not everyone can be the eyeball, not everyone can be the hand, not everyone can be the foot, not everyone can be the leg. We all have a part to play, and I love that. And that's what my part that I would like to be a part of this whole body, if you will, is to be the encourager, the person who sees the value, and when you're down, and when you don't know where to go next, I want to be there to help, like, redirect you, like, to the value that's already there, that's within you, to help you grow. And share what I've learned that's helped me get out of where I'm at too. And I think this is just as much for you guys, for me, as it is for you guys, if not more. Because every time I share something, I am learning. Because inevitably, when you do interact with me, you ask questions about things I've never thought about. And then I'm able to connect different things in my head that I otherwise would not have thought about if I wasn't trying to share a concept in the first place. There's just value in sharing what you've learned, because then you can refine it, you can get more understanding about it as you kind of connect brains together, for lack of better words. So yeah. And then from there, I kind of like go into like I skip ahead a little bit more into like the things that I relate to with the Zatzman, because like I said, he's a man who overthinks, and I'm a man who overthinks. So I understand the overthinking. And there was just a part where he said, and like this part is just more like, you know, Zatzman, if you ever come on to this video and see that I made a reaction, I love to connect. And this part helped me really feel connected to your background, because this next bit, like the very first bit, now not all of this next bit, but part of the first part is like word for word, kind of how I grew up, of just, it just sucked. So he begins to talk about how, like, there was, growing up, there was a lot of people that either, like, thought he was weird for the things that he enjoyed, or just kind of rejected him, and I get it. I understand this a lot. So this is just less to teach you about YouTube and more just like an area that I connect with him kind of thing, as it is a reaction video.
That is fear. Growing up, I'd either be bullied for who I was or shamed for my interests. So
Yes.
I'd be afraid of going after what I really wanted. Any personal accomplishment felt like something people wanted from me or was expected of me, and that never felt satisfying because I wanted something else. Something more. I'm literally a Disney princess. I never had something to call my own that I felt proud of. I'm afraid because I've never gotten recognition for something that feels like me. And now, with this YouTube experience, the prospect of having something I care about morph into something else terrifies me. I'm afraid of losing the joy that comes with creation. I'm afraid of bending to the systemic influence of an online ecosystem. I'm afraid of having my motivation shift and what that means for my personal identity. I think I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of change. Afraid of the unknown. Afraid I'll abandon everything I've ever loved. Afraid I'll abandon everything I will love. Afraid that's a lie and I'm incapable of loving anything. I'm afraid of intimacy. I'm afraid of vulnerability. I'm afraid of being rejected for who I am. I'm afraid that I'm wasting my time. Afraid time is passing me by. Afraid of trying only to fail again. Afraid of what I can achieve. Afraid of what success might do to me. Afraid I'll become bitter and stuck in mediocrity. Afraid that it'll never be good enough. Afraid that this YouTube thing won't work out for anyone.
That's something, not every one of his fears are the same fears that I deal with, but some of them, like fear of like I'm wasting my time, fear of I'm not doing enough. Well, in his case, he's not good enough, but in my case, it's not doing enough. I don't know, for some reason, I've never really worried about am I good enough, but I have worried if I'm doing enough. Just a small switch in my head. But just all the different fears are similar fears that I've dealt with, and just very related to. I'm just like, yep, I get it. I understand. You know, when you're in your teenage years and 20s, it's less obvious about the march of time. Everything is still relatively stationary in time. Like, your parents will still, unless they're very old, will still look like your parents, but once you get to your 30s, which is where he's at, like now your parents look like your grandparents, depending on how old your parents were when they had you, which mine were in their 30s, and you'll be different, and you'll recognize that now you've gone through a chunk of your life, and it's like, am I on the right path? Should I have gotten more schooling? Should I be, change jobs? Should I have, pursued this friendship or whatever? All these kind of things are just like, So I get it, and I relate to that. But I think with Zatzman, the thing that one of the main things that separates me from him is, again, that whole dive into existentialism. Well, specifically into nihilism. And for me, I don't really kind of get into there's no point in life. You have to make your own meaning. Like, no, we all have purpose and meaning. You might not like it or may not have known what it is yet, but it doesn't mean there is none. We all play a part of it. And there's some similarities. I think I think Zatzman is Jewish, possibly. But I don't know how hard he holds to that, just kind of observing the way that he talks and things and what he focuses on. But and obviously I'm Christian. So there might be some kind of wandering and trying to figure things out there, but I do know, and I can say, that Christ has helped me when it comes to finding direction and purpose, and has helped me avoid a large chunk of existential dread. Not to say that I never feel it, not to say I never experience it, but I definitely don't generally dip into sheer levels of hopelessness. And so my heart, if for whatever reason, Zatzman, you see this and you come onto the stream, know that my heart goes out to you, and I relate to your fears, but I don't think purpose just simply comes from within us, like in the sense of like we define what purpose is. We can, but I do think there is greater purpose that is obviously bigger than us, and thus for assigned to us, rather than something that we make, kind of thing. Or at least some sort of combination of the two. So, and then he kind of goes into defining his why. I think that's really important too. This is kind of like getting close to the end, so this is a good like cinching up to the whole thing, defining your why. Because if you're going into something and you don't know why you're doing it, or if your why doesn't really line up for where you're actually supposed to be heading, it's really important to do that. And so he kind of talks about that here. Let's see.
Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to create? What is your why as a creator? You can have a completely arbitrary mixture of various motivations. That's fine, but you gotta be honest with it. Otherwise, you'll lose sight of yourself and end up where I'm at, in Cartesian hermit monk mode, completely disconnected from the rest of society. While we can be in conflict with the world, oftentimes the conflict comes from within. But when it's quiet and I'm left to contemplate who I am, going deeper inside, there are no clear answers. There's a void.
But you got to figure out the why to what you're doing, because knowing your why gives you the determination to keep going when the what shows up or the opposition effectively shows up. So having a good definition to why am I doing as I'm doing makes a big difference. And again, you want to make sure that your why lines up with your morals, and your heart, because if it doesn't, you might want to try something different. If your why is to please another person or to live to some standard that was set for you by society or parents or whatever, or it's just not something that is from within that you want to do this, then it's something to consider. Maybe this is not actually what you want to do and something you feel like you have to do, and it's not a good why. Because life will definitely throw crap at you. And without a good why, it's a bad place to be in. But then after that, he kind of brings it together. And he talks about how, we're here to help others and ourselves. And I really like that last point. And there's more that he goes into, but this is like the last big thing that I kind of pulled away that I wanted to share.
Better for it. A reminder that just how you can give compassion and hope to yourself, you can do the same for others. Helping someone else dealing with similar issues be able to navigate their path or get them through a rough patch, because we need each other to overcome our struggles. And maybe through giving love to others, you can find the love you can't give yourself and learn to love again. Even if this whole existence...
And I really like that. I really like the way that he put that in the end, because like the best way that you help people is you help them through the things that you've been through, that you've experienced. And by helping people, it does help you, and it does help you love yourself in the process in a reciprocal way. It can, push you into more self-hatred, or it also can help you and help you find love for yourself, because if we're not putting ourselves out there in such a way to help other people to use the strengths and talents that we have, that will weigh on you. I can't think of a way that just does not naturally weigh on a person. We know when we are wasting time deep down. Like, sometimes we're bad at recognizing when we're wasting time because we become numb. Sometimes we overthink it and we're not actually wasting time when we feel like it. But after a period of time of reflection and thinking about it, we can tell when we're not really using our talents, and it will weigh on you. I think a part of the best life you can live is in service of other people. To lay down your life for someone else, however that may look, whether that be, making a sacrifice of providing food for the hungry, whether that be being there and listening to a person even though you would rather go to bed, or whether that will be, helping someone find a home, or helping someone learn something, and being patient with them through the process, helping take care of a pet, helping take care of a baby, helping take care of whatever it may be. We all have our strengths to supply, and I feel like it just would create anger, depression, anxiety, resentment if we don't live out the lives that we know we could be living, that we're kind of storing away because we're trying to people please or trying to live up to some unrealistic standard, or we're told never to do that. It's just, I don't know. It's good to find your why. It's good to act with what strengths you have. And so I really like this video, and I really like to recommend just some of the videos that the Zatzman has made. So if you're looking for just interesting content that talks about, like, one of his strengths is kind of looking to something that like society has accepted weirdly and just trying to push, and looking at it with a skeptical eye. So you're looking for that. The Zatzman, as his name, his stuff is definitely not PG. It is PG-13 at best-ish. I guess you could say, at least when it comes to language, not when it comes to, like, coming across something you should not see, nothing like that. But it's really good, really funny, and you can tell that he puts a lot of work into his content. And again, just as a point of reference, it takes me 2 to 3 hours to make a 1-minute video. And this man has put in so much editing into his videos. He probably puts well over a literal day's worth of hours into each one of his videos, especially the longer they are, like 30 and an hour minute ones. Has to at least put so much editing to them. So if you're looking for something funny and challenging, and maybe relatable, maybe that's something I'd like to suggest. Whoa. I'll turn that down. Richard, you're saying serving someone else, meeting someone else's needs gives you a sense of purpose and helps you focus on something other than your issues and in a negative way. Yeah, I could definitely say that for sure. Like that, it just, when you find yourself stuck on thinking about you, it really does help to think about someone else. I feel like maybe I have a capacity to think about other people a lot because I also think about myself a lot. So this is a good distraction from me sometimes. Not to say that I'm not working on my own problems, but it is nice to be able to come on for a couple hours a night to talk to you guys and to be there for you. And hey, we've made it to the end of the stream. I don't have any gaming tonight. I just wanted to share this video. We'll end a little bit earlier than usual. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I have, or at least 10% as I have. And that you got something out of it. You can't mope. Yeah, you can't mope over it. Well, I mean, you might still be able to. I can't say you can't. It's just harder to mope over yourself. I've definitely been in the process of helping people and still can't get out of my own head. I've learned how to work, consistently and still be in my head. Not to say that I recommend staying in your head, but still, it does help. It makes it less. I think less about myself when I'm helping other people than if I'm just purely being by myself. And that's probably aided to my extroversion. So, anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Because I have. So, ha. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to check out the Zatzman's channel. He's got good stuff. I recommend him. If you're just looking for some fun, different perspective stuff. And if you enjoyed my commentary on it, I invite you to join us on Discord. And reminder that we are in the process of updating our branding and everything. So if you would like to help us with that and invest into that, we've got Patreon, we've got PayPal down in the description below or in the panels if you're on Twitch. So just want to throw that out there. Again, shameless plug. One way or another, it's going to change, but it's always nice to give people the opportunity to be invested in it with you. So if you want to invest, we're updating our graphics, we're updating our Streamlabs stuff, we're updating the intro and outro, and we're getting to a place where we're going to have our first shirts. So, and at certain points within Patreon, that is actually a part of subscribing to us. So that is always welcome. One of the funny details that the Zatzman brought out in this video is that 80% of the people on YouTube have Patreons, and it's true. And it is my personal belief that if you found someone that it is regularly pouring into you, that you get a lot out of, it is good to support them. I personally financially support Dr. Michael Brown, which maybe one day I'll do a reaction video on one of his stuff. I might do that because he's got some really good stuff too that I like to share. But I do actually support him monthly. And so I'm a firm believer that in addition to the tithes that I do at church, too. So I think it's always good to do that because it shows generosity, shows you there's a joy that you can't get outside of generosity. I've learned over the course of my life. And there's a certain level of connectedness you don't have outside of generosity. And a faith that you will be okay financially outside of generosity. Because sometimes we can get, and I'm speaking to myself here, sometimes I can get feeling like, oh God, how am I going to make ends meet if I give away X amount of my money? But the ends still meet. And mind you, this is not me getting any external money anywhere else except for my job. So, God always provides. So, welcome back, Zap. You came at the butt end of me talking about financially supporting thoutraid. Congratulations. But yeah, so there's that. And I was talking about, hey, check out the Zatzman. Really like his stuff. Again, it's PG-13. Just as a forewarning. But yeah. What do you win? You win me talking to you. But yeah, and just, yeah. I think that's all the main things. Check them out. Join us on Discord. Support us if you like. We'd love to have your support. Boo. Sorry. There's only so much I can do. So, anyways, with that said, we broadcast every night, Monday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be live again Friday with some more gaming. You don't want to miss it. I love you guys, and you have a good night. And yes, already.
He says, I see a potential. see a potential in my eyes. I see a potential. I never lost sight of the reason why you're alive. You're alive. You're alive. We sing Jesus, you're alive.